top left. This player is so strong in the late game. Really great multitasking from the team MVP. It's Dream. And his opponent to the bottom right, known as the Marine Prince by many. In blue, it's Maru.
Maru's micro. I mean, both of them actually with great micro. You could really see this on the first game already, where Dream was showcasing his. Now in the second game, Maru, he looked a little bit more warmed up and could really show that he is able to he's on even eye level with Dream. That's what I wanted to say. And that game here now on another two-player map could be very tense.
I think it will be. The question now becomes, does Maru continue the trend? Does he go gas first again, stick with what works? Or is he going to try to throw his opponent off? The answer is gas first. He goes gas first again. And what is Dream going to do in response?
Maru's just sticking with his guns.
Yeah, and I like that. That's the type of player who says, you know, some people would call this type of player who does the same type of aggressive opening as a one-trick pony, but I say otherwise. I think if someone is able to have this much success with always being aggressive as often as possible, it really goes to show that person has mastered what they like to do.
Yeah. That's one thing if you're overly greedy and your opponents are exploiting it. That's what we saw at Iron Squid when Marine King insisted on going for the same opening every single time and was just blind counted. And I actually talked to him after that about his builds, and he asked me here, what can I do? And I'm like, well, you're a little bit one-dimensional at this point. He's like, yeah, I know. I need to scan. I need to see what exactly is going on and play a little bit more safe. I need to change my builds. And this is exactly the other extreme that you can end up with. You have players that developed a style that was so strong, and this was true for Marine King as it's now for Maru with his opening, but at some point it gets a little bit too predictable and people start to blank counter you, and then you have to be flexible enough to adapt.
Very true. This is why we saw Dream scout so heavily last game and end up finding the starport. Yeah, it wasn't enough. Maru still killed him, but that's the type of thing that starts to add up. Maru in the past has done a ton of command center first play, though. Not to say that he always goes gas first in every matchup. He just does it often. It's what he's known for.
He was actually known to be one of those guys on ladder who would cheese you every single time. So a very aggressive player. But he, as you said, had a phase where he started a lot with command center first, kind of the style of his master, of Marine King. But now we have him he has this flexibility that you need. But Dream, even though he lost the last game, is an incredible player. And if Maru makes one mistake, Dream will exploit it and will punish him for it.
Very true. Maru actually will kill, almost kills that SUV. He could still get it. Decides to go for the new SUV, though I like this choice better because he may deny the chance even further. Not quite able to. He will have to leave. Meanwhile, the starport is going down, of course. SUV escapes. Nicely done by Maru. So he's just doing the same build with the starport. This time the starport not proxied, so he's not going to be able to follow up with Vikings and do the same type of attack. Instead, he's going to have to make a command center and go into late game after doing some damage. He's got double gas here, which could mean we could see a Banshee fall up as well. Or even a siege tank pushed by ground, just walking across the map. This is not one of the bigger maps we have in GSL.
Yeah, would be possible. We'll find out if he's going to do it. Both of them are really young. We have Dream just 16 years old. So I feel, even though he's already an accomplished player, you could still call him a talent.
Yeah, very true. I actually sat next to him on the plane a few times on the different events. Just looked up that young, simple life. Taught him quite a bit. He's actually really smart. I think he's one of the smartest players I've ever talked to. He really knows what he's doing. And look at this, the Hellions actually run by and get into the main with only 2 units in that bunker. He knows it. Comes in here, delays the starport. This is pretty huge.
Yeah.
Everything else that he gets here is kind of like a bonus. Delaying that starport is good enough.
And he delays it by a very long time, and he is still not done. The micro, once again, great defense here by Dream, trying to corner the Hellion with those few SCVs that he has.
He's repairing that one SCV. That's not a weekend SCV of Dream. That was an SCV of Maru repairing that Hellion. 2 more Hellions get into the natural. He's going to be able to get this mule. 30 minerals, 2 get delivered. He's lucky he gets at least that. Maru,
another 2 SCVs. He can kill both. No, he can't, because Dream reacts and puts the SCV in the bunker. But still, 7 harvesters killed here. Really nice aggression by Maru once again. And in case you guys were wondering when I mentioned that Dream is 16, Maru is actually still 15 in Western age.
Yes.
So he's even a little bit younger than his opponent.
By the way, Fake Cloak goes down with the strategy. He's going to Raven here. And we'll go into a siege tank push to follow this up, it looks like. So the Raven will be a good choice, and then I think he's just going to go with the Siege Tank. What's to say? Raven will give him point defense turn and auto turrets. Good defense here by Dream. This is actually a little bit overzealous. I feel like Maru actually let him.
He saw that Dream was set up and he still decided to drop here. He wants to occupy his opponent because he wants to execute this build and make sure that there's not a lot of scouting going on for Dream. As long as he can pressure the MVP Terran player, he will be able to... His push will just hit harder if he is able to macro it up. He's just trying to wiggle away at the defense of Dream.
Yeah. Maru's push is all that Dream has to defend in a win this game, but this is going to be very difficult. He's going to Vikings, in fact, so the tech lab here is just 100% a fake. He wanted his opponent to think he was going for Banshees. But we'll see if he has the inclination of adding just one Banshee to follow up the push. Because one Banshee is really important. Dream's not going to have any tanks when this comes.
Maru also has the Raven, and the Raven alone is already worth the tech lab, I feel. You can use the point defense drone later on. You can make sure that your opponent's Vikings are not going to be this effective. Even if you just drop auto turrets, they can really do a lot here, depending on the situation. But right now, we have Maru moving out. And Maru is now at 31, 32 army supply against 18. And for Dream, Stim is not done. It's not going to be easy to defend against this attack with only one bunker at the front.
He's only got... all of his units are in the main base, so if he bursts down that bunker and then sieges up at the natural, then every unit that comes down the ramp for Dream is going to be taking siege tank fire. He may try to drop at the natural as well with these Hellions. He's got so many different options with this type of army composition. He's pulling some SCVs as well here. Oh, this is so difficult for Dream.
That's a scout. He sees it, there's only one Marine in the bunker as mentioned, so now the bunker needs to be... He can't even repair it at this point, or at least he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's not super useful for him.
He can't really hold it. He can try to buy some time, but that's all there is to it. Here come the auto turrets.
This is a great choice. Auto turrets with so much armor, they do a decent amount of DPS as well, and they're always just going to be there as buffer units. Drops the Vikings as well. Maru, man, he has changed his ID to the Viking King. Let's pretend I didn't say that. Now, these Marines are actually chasing down the SCVs. The SCVs are nowhere to run, and this is game, I think.
This is so many SCVs that he just lost. His harvester count is now down to 22, but only against 25 for Maru. But he also had to lift his command center. And here comes Maru into the main base, and this is a horrible spot for Dream to be, and he just doesn't have the army.
Exactly. He loses his tech lab that was researching STEM. He's got no siege tanks. And
he's losing everything here.
Yeah, this is just not a situation he can recover from.
Look how desperate Dream is. Dream knows that he's going to lose his production, and he's starting to build additional 2 barracks because he's like, I can't build. Everything that I build is going to be destroyed. It's just the production that is the problem. He pulls the SCVs of the mineral line again, and Maru is taking it. He is taking this game, and Dream, he is suffering the same fate as first. The curse of Katowice is striking, and both players who are placing first and second in Poland are dropping now down to Code B. Here's their winner, Maru Prime, taking the series with a 2-1. Even Marine King in the booth congratulating him.
Marine King comes to make sure that he's doing okay. Dream taking a tough loss there against the very aggressive Terran from the Prime team. Takes after Marine King a little bit. And we're going now into our final game of the night, or of the afternoon, which is going to be Happy up against Killer.
Happy versus Killer is going to be our next game. We have another Terran versus Protoss. And, well, Killer, he always bounces back in Code A. He always bounces back in Canadian, but this is not going to be easy for him. Happy, a very, very strong opponent. But Killer has been doing very well in Team MVP so far. But we haven't seen him play for a while.
Yeah, we have not seen him play for a while. In fact, I think the last time I saw him play maybe was in GSTL. But let's take a look at the maps that we're going to see these two players battle it out on. We're going to see them up here. You guys can take a look. We'll look as well with you right now, maybe.
Or in a second or two.
There they go. Daybreak, Icarus, and Neoplanet S.
Yeah, Killer looking good here in his MVP shirt. And Happy, of course. He is one of those guys that... He fell off grace a little bit. I mean, in the up and downs, he was not able to really come through either. So we are going to find out what exactly Killer can do here. Finally, that's the one thing that I'm really happy for Killer is he's not facing a Protoss player. This was so far nearly always his fate that he was facing a Protoss, and his PvP is just not the best.
Yeah, it's very true. He had some unlucky brackets in the past. His late game prowess versus Terran in the past looked really strong, but in recent times, a little bit more disappointing, I would say. And he's playing on big maps. Daybreak is the smallest map, in fact, that he's really going to be playing on, and he's going to face Icarus and Neoplanet S. So, Happy, as long as he knows how to play against Killer, I think has a strong advantage.
Killer also played in the last GSL Code A, and well, in the first round, and he had to face a Terran player back then. He faced Flash, and Flash took the series with a 2-1.
I remember that now with a ton of Vikings.
Yeah. So once again, up against the Terran player. This time he hopes for a better ending. And Happy, on the other hand, he is a veteran. And we're gonna find out who's gonna win this here on Daybreak, map number 1, in our last game of the early session here at the GSL Code A.